Absolute value. The absolute value of a number, A, written with 2 bars around A, is the distance between A and 0 on a number line. So if I give you the absolute value of 3, it would be equal to 3. And this means the positive distance of 3 units in the positive direction on the number line. So this means I am to count 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. And for the absolute value of negative 3, it will also equal to 3. So this is the positive distance of 3 units in the negative direction on the number line. So I would count 3 units to the left. Okay, for absolute value equation, this is an equation that contains an absolute value expression. So let's use an easy example. In this equation, we have the absolute value of x, and that is the absolute value expression within this absolute value equation. This equation means that the distance between x and 0 is 4. The solutions of the equation are negative 4 and 4 because they are the only numbers whose distance from 0 is 4. So here I can count 4 units to the right and 4 units to the left. So let me review the key concept for solving an absolute value equation. For the absolute value equation, absolute value of ax plus b equal to c when c is greater than or equal to 0, the equivalents are ax plus b equal to c and ax plus b equal to negative c. And you must be wondering, why is there a negative here? That is because ax plus b can be negative, and the c here refers to this part. Hence, you will have 2 different values of x as your solution. Note, the absolute value of a number is never negative. So, when an absolute value expression equals a negative number, there are no solutions. For example, the absolute value of x cannot be equal to a negative number because the distance is always positive. So in this case, there's no solution. Guided practice. Part A, solve the equation if possible. Okay, so to solve an absolute value equation, I need to first set 4n minus 5 equal to 18. Remember, 4n minus 5 can also be negative, so I can just do 4n minus 5 equal to negative 18. It's the same thing. And then I am to solve this. Add 5 to both sides. So we get 23. N will be 23 over 4. For the other one, 4n equals to negative 13. N equals to negative 13 over 4. So you have two answers. And for this next problem, we can first simplify by multiplying both sides of the equation by 4 over 7. So we end up with absolute value of 3j plus 5 equal to 60 over 7. Now, I'm going to solve one part right here. So first we need to set 3j plus 5 equal to 60 over 7. Now, for the other one, 3j plus 5 can also be negative. So now, to solve for j, I'm going to write 3j equal to 60 over 7 minus 35 over 7. I simply rewrote negative 5 as negative 35 over 7. So 3j equals to 25 over 7. And then j equals to 25 over 7 divided by 3, which equals to 25 over 21. And my other one, 3j equals to negative 60 over 7. Subtract 35 over 7, refers to this one. And 3j equals to negative 95 over 7. And j would equal to negative 95 over 21. To solve this problem, we need to first isolate the absolute value of x minus 1 by subtracting 5 to both sides of the equation. So the next step will be the absolute value of x minus 1 equal to negative 3. Oh no, we have a negative number here. So if we have an absolute value equaling a negative number, then you can immediately conclude that this absolute value does not have any solutions. Okay, and for this one, I'm going to subtract 3 to both sides. I need to isolate this absolute value of 1/3 s minus 5. So then the next step, I would get absolute value 1/3 s minus 5 equal to 5. And then I need to divide both sides by 2 to get 1/3 s minus 5 equal to 5 over 2. Now I'm going to have to solve. My first answer would be 1/3 s minus 5 equal to 5 over 2. My second setup would be 1/3 s minus 5 equal to negative 5 over 2. Okay, and then I'm going to do the math. So 1/3 s equals to 5 over 2 plus 5. I can rewrite 5 as 10 over 2. So 1/3 x equals 15 over 2. And then s would equal to 15 over 2 times 3. So it goes 45 over 2. I have to look for the other answer. We need to add 5 to both sides. So we have 1/3 s equal to negative 5 over 2. I'm going to rewrite 5 as 10 over 2. 1/3 s equals to 5 over 2. And then s equals to 5 over 2 times 3, which equals to 15 over 2. So these are our answers for s. Okay, now I'm going to move on to absolute deviation. When you are given a number x and a given value, then the absolute deviation formula is defined by the absolute value of x minus the given value. How far is the given value away from x? So what I mean is, let me draw a picture. If the given value is here, it could be any number, then the absolute deviation will be either towards the right or towards the left by the same distance. Okay, let's take a look at a simple problem about absolute deviation. Find the values of x that satisfy the definition of absolute deviation for the given value and the given absolute deviation. So the given value here is 5. The absolute deviation is 8. So I have to write 8 equal to x minus 5. And now I need to find all the values of x by solving this absolute value equation. Well, x minus 5 equals to 8. Then x equals to 13. And x minus 5 can also be equal to negative 8. So x equals to negative 3. So if I draw a picture here, the given value is 5. Okay, and then I would have to add 8 to get to 13. And minus 8 to get to negative 3. So that's what it means. Part C. Write the verbal sentence as an absolute value equation. So for this one, 6 more than the absolute deviation of x from 5 is 7. So 6 more than the absolute deviation of x from 5, so that would be x minus 5, is 7. Six times the absolute deviation of 5x from negative 8, so 6 times the absolute deviation, put some absolute value signs up, 5x from negative 8, so we have to do 5x minus 8 is 16, and then we need to change this to a positive sign or addition sign. Okay, I'm just going to use the red pen to indicate this as absolute value signs. And for the next one, part D, solve the absolute value of x plus 5 equals to 8 geometrically. So basically they want you to use a number line. But let's first rewrite this equation as x minus 5 equal to 8. Well, the absolute value. Okay, so here, negative 5 will be the given value, and the absolute deviation will be 8. So I need to count 8 units to the right. And when I do that, negative 5 plus 8 would give me 3. And negative 5 minus 8 would give me about negative 13. It's about here. Okay, so my answers would be negative 13 and 3. Part E, how many solutions does the equation have given these conditions? So your first thing you have to do is solve this absolute value equation. So absolute value of x plus b would equal to d minus c over a. And here it says a is negative, d is positive, and c is less than to d. So if c is less than to d, then this difference here must be positive. And here, negative, there's a negative sign here next to a. Positive, negative makes negative. So if the absolute value is equal to a negative number, then we have no solutions for this case. Word problems. You will be making a presentation in your history class. Your teacher give you a time limit of 15 minutes. So this is the given value with an absolute deviation of 1.5 minutes. What is the maximum possible duration in minutes of your presentation? So for this problem, we also need to use the absolute deviation formula. So the given value is 15, absolute deviation 1.5 minutes. So we can set up our absolute value equation. 1.5 equals to x minus 15. Now x here, when we solve for x, you're going to get two values, and one of them is going to be your maximum value. So here we have x minus 1.5 equal to 1.5, and x would equal to 16.5. And for the other one, it will be x minus 15 equal to negative 1.5, and x would equal to 13.5. Now, first we need to label these as minutes. Since 16.5 is bigger, this would be the maximum. And we want to use 16.5 minutes as our answer. And of course, just for your information, this would be the minimum number of minutes. Okay, now let's look at the last vocabulary term. Absolute error is the absolute deviation of a measured value from the expected value. So this expected value is the same thing as the given value here. And in this case, when you're calculating the absolute error, you will use the same formula as for the absolute deviation. So here we have this word problem taken from the textbook on page 334. Before the start of a professional basketball game, A basketball must be inflated, meaning you need to add air into it, to an air pressure of 8 pounds per square inches. So we could shorten that into PSI, with an absolute error of 0.5 PSI. Okay, and find the minimum and maximum acceptable air pressures for the basketball. Okay, so here we have the given air pressure of 8 psi. So we can set our formula up. So absolute error, which is also the absolute deviation, is equal to 0.5. We're going to set that equal to the absolute value of x minus 8. And once you find out what your x values are, one of them will be the minimum and the other one will be the maximum air pressures. Okay, so here 0.5 equals to x minus 8. And to solve for x here, it will be 8.5 psi. And for the other one, negative 0.5 equals to x minus 8, and x would equal to, okay, let's see, (7.5 psi). So 8.5 psi would be your maximum, 7.5 psi will be your minimum. Okay, let me make this clearer. This is a 7. And this concludes our lesson.